went on a weekend with a sobriety and found that I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm used to pelting around a racetrack at nearly 200 miles an hour. It was the anticipation of what was going to happen with the wind and the tidal flows and the speed of the vessel and the prop walk and you know, all the other things dialed in. It was like you know, although it wasn't happening very fast, it was all happening. Yeah. You know, and all of this, and I really quite enjoyed it. And the chap that took us, a chap called Roy Scott, a smashing bloke, he'd been doing all his working life, and he was working for the sobriety centre there at Gull. He really seemed, you know, to be a natural with this. You know, there's a vessel back at the museum that needs somebody to save her. You know, you might be the lad for the job. We got back to Gull, and he took us up as far as, I think it was Stanley Ferry, Marina near Wakefield, and we got back to Gull, and lo and behold, this was sort of laid in a very sort of distressing state. She was filling up with water forward. The insides had been smashed out, for want of a better word. And when I saw her then, I thought, good Lord, this is going to take a huge amount of effort to resurrect. And then I found out about the vessel, and that, you know, she was the last one that was ever designed by Frederick Warren from Warren's Yard. I picked her up from the Waterways Museum in Gull and start sort of finding out where she'd got problems and then eradicating them. Unfortunately, for me, a lot of the history of her in her sailing days was 13 years, from 1926 when she was launched to 1939 when she was demasted. A grey area. Dick Holt, who did a recording with me explaining how the Spider was leading the last regatta, sloop regatta on the Humber in 1928, and she was, you know, a country mile in front of everything else. She was absolutely flying. And the sister ship, the Zenitha, came second, and I'm not sure if Dick didn't say that the Humber T won the race, another one of the Tomlinson Group vessels. But there was only the Spider and the Zenitha that were built to the same sort of design and standard. All the major refurbishment took place at home moorings at Kidby. Some took place at Blue Water Marina. I mean, when we removed her from Gull, she broke down probably 50 times on the way to her moorings. I made up my mind very early on that the way forward for me was to tackle a major project every year and to use her, even though there were no internal fittings, things. The idea was, as I say, to tackle a major project every year and then use her, even if there were 6 of us like sardines on the floor in sleeping bags. So you're actually, in effect, doing the work and then doing your apprenticeship, if you like, to handle her in all sorts of different circumstances. Yeah. And then getting the interior done and the rigging and all of the, I mean, everything that you see has had to be recreated, from the windlasses to, you know, the steering gear, the new rudder that's just been built, and, you know, all the other things, and creating something to original spec. That is exactly, you know, to a fraction of an inch what she should have. The shape of the roof is the same as the hatch tops, exactly, so that the wheelhouse roof will go under the hatch at this rear well deck and the whole lot collapses down. Yeah. So you can make it look absolutely traditional and have your tiller on and make out that it's absolutely correct. After the initial stages on the Trent, we're then into the Humber and all that brings, and it's like Ellen MacArthur said, you know, there's only one place in the world that absolutely frightens the stupid, and it's the Humber. So I enjoyed, you know, the sort of learning process of sailing on the Humber by motor. When I say motoring, it should be the proper term, motoring on the Humber, and getting used to everything. The first coastal jaunt was planned to Whitby. I think it was 2004, 2005. We left Admiral Steps at 8 in the morning and headed out. No sails, no mast, no nothing, just a very, very basic fit out, doing sea trials to see A, if she was capable, and B, if the you know, mechanics and the drive gear, propulsion gear were up to the job in hand. I'd got a great crew on board consisting of Chief of the Humber Pilots, Johnny Edwards, another Humber pilot. I think we worked out that there was over 150 years of experience on board. She was absolutely faultless, there and back. It got a 3-bladed propeller on that was quite well pitched. I think she was a little bit thirsty on the diesel, but having said that, it was a small price to pay for the stability and the speed that it gave her. The Scarborough was the first venture seaward with the mast and the rig on. There's a wonderful article that was written by Chris Horan, the Telegraph reporter, and he came with us as sort of like one of the crew stroke, you know, media sort of scribe. He wrote a lovely piece, thoroughly enjoyed. We've become good friends. I quite like Chris and his matter-of-fact way that he puts things over. As he said, it was the first time a vessel like this had gone to sea for many, many, many years. Like I say, in the last 3 years, we've done about 4,600 nautical miles, which, you know, have mainly been at sea with the sails up. So as time's gone on, we've got more and more proficient at getting the best out of the rig, and I dare say that'll continue for probably years to come. As time progresses, we're all getting to know what she will do and what she won't. You know, she'll sail quite close to the wind. The Scottish run, that wasn't too bad, because every day we would go from, you know, let's say Bridlington, where we are now, we would go to Whitby, and then Whitby to Blythe, and Blythe to Eyemouth. And they were all short hops, about 70 miles, 60 odd miles, or whatever else. The Rotterdam Event, we were all sort of finely attuned to what we were trying to achieve and did it. I was going to take her over to Dordrecht. I mean, last year we took her to Rotterdam, as you know. But yeah, to the future, the Scotland trip, Whitby, been invited down south for events at Harwich. I've been invited back to Mersey Island on the River Blackwater, which we've been and done. I've been invited to Guernsey and take her into the Channel Islands. But I think most of all, my ultimate dream is to get her into the Med.